Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about the Kenya versus Brit debacle.
Listen here. I need y'all to subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. Blair, you look very nice this episode.
Oh, thanks.
As you do most episodes. All episodes, actually. I wear my same uniform.
Yes.
Right?
You look good to me.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Diddly yum yum.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it, right?
Yes.
Here's the thing, right? I don't know what to think anymore.
Okay.
Because I watch so many videos, I listen to so many opinions that I think we are forgetting one thing, right?
Tell me.
And I think the main thing that we are forgetting is how this started. To me, it did not start when Brit mentioned pistols.
Right.
Right? To me, it started with herself with having this fake beef with Kenya.
Yes.
Right? To me, I think that's the origin story of all of this, because if you have this fake beef that I don't know that you have with me, something like peasant can trigger you off.
And if I can get a little more specific.
Go ahead.
When we go back to the moment where they both met.
Yes.
Brit was the one who was going around saying, so you're going through a divorce, you're going through a divorce, you're going through a divorce. And then that's when Kenya had a question about her ring without her wedding band.
Yes.
So if we're talking about where it all started, Kenya would have nothing to say about her ring if Brit wasn't going down the line talking about who's all divorced.
Yes. 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 That's a great point. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not saying this to absolve Kenya of any wrongdoing. I'm going to get to Kenya.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? But I think we really need to start the whole origin story, right? So she had this idea, in my opinion, that she was going to be close with Kenya. She was going to be best friends with Kenya, or at least have some type of on-camera spat with Kenya to kind of grow her whole, Real Housewives of Atlanta housewife clout, I guess. I don't know, right? So how do I supposed to know? Because I'm hearing what Brit is saying throughout all these interviews and things of that nature, even writing things down. She said that she was triggered. What triggered her?
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing that is really, like, mind-blowing to me. Because if you have this beef with me that I do not know about, in which I objectively did not do anything can be a trigger to you. Because you're the one who built this whole fantasy in your head to begin with.
Yeah.
So now, when I call you a peasant, because I say you want a moment, and you are a peasant to me, you say in response to that, I got pistols and whips.
But that's why I really think it was a bruised ego, because Brit has said, and I don't know if it was in a statement or one of these interviews that she's done, but I know that she did say that she thought that Kenya would be somebody who would have welcomed her warmly or with open arms into this friend group. Why do you think that?
I don't understand. I don't understand.
Why? You've never met this lady. Kenya can have her moments to where she wants to be the one to pretty much haze people, and she has her moments to where she's chilled, laid back, and isn't really going for anybody.
Yes.
And if you ask me, Kenya was in her laid back mode until she couldn't be.
Yes.
Or she chose not to be.
That's really what it is.
Right.
Until she chose not to be. So if we're going by what you just said, Blair, right? If that triggered you to the whole point of where you said, Blair, that it was a bruised ego. People, let's go back to the glory days of Real Housewives of Atlanta, right? To where you had Kandi on there. Kandi is an accomplished songwriter. She was in an accomplished group. Right now, I think she holds the record for a Broadway show and things like that. She have a very successful Broadway show that she produced and things of that nature.
A couple.
So a couple. So Brandy. So Kandi is very successful.
Yeah.
She was very successful when she joined Housewives of Atlanta, right? But did that stop anybody from giving any receipts to Kandi? Did that stop anybody from going toe-to-toe with Kandi? Did that stop anybody from reading Kandi? So if there's anybody who had a big ego, and I'm just using Kandi as an example, Kandi has an ego because she earned it through her work and things of that nature, right? That doesn't mean that whenever there is some type of combative spat between two housewives that you go to, I'm gonna go get my gun. Like that's why I don't. If you can't handle your ego on a show that basically is built around going at each other, then you can't be on the show.
And you cannot use that argument that Kenya showed her gun on camera.
No,
because she was in her home, she was talking to her friend, she didn't bring the gun out nowhere, she didn't talk about the gun that she had anywhere when she was out.
Yes,
she was in her home with her license to having her home weapon.
Yes, yes. And now my thing is this too. Now let me go to Kenya, because I'm gonna give Kenya some, right? Kenya, I think you are smart enough, or you should have been smart enough to know how to handle someone like Brit, right? Brit is from this generation to where they want clout, they want fame, they want to be seen, right? So when someone wants that type of clout and wants that type of attention, you don't put them on the stage, especially at your grand opening. You get what I'm saying? You freeze them out. You give them no spotlight. You give them no attention. I feel like that would have angered Brit more and would have made her feel more left out more, because she, truth be told, all of this, even her reaction with the whole pistols and whips and things of that nature, was just a call to, like, I want to be part of the cool girls club. You get what I'm saying? So what you do, or what I think she should have did, was she should have froze her out. She should be like, you know what, I'm not going to talk to you. Like basically what you want, this whole, like, we should go be buddy, you're not going to be buddy with me.
And she said she would pay her dust, but she did the opposite of that. The exact opposite.
The very, very, very much. Mm-hmm. Now, overall, I believe Kenya went too far, right? Kenya went too far, but I also believe that Brit action before the reaction was too far too. And my question to you, Blair, is, if it was so bad that at the end of the episode that they showed the black and white letters, we have decided to cease filming with Kenya. This is the last episode for Kenya this season. Why show the episode? Like, why do y'all as a network get the profit off of the episode, get the benefit off the episode, even get the market off the episode? If it was so bad that you basically bench one of your stars for their actions, if it crossed some type of code of ethics, code of conduct, why did y'all show the episode then?
The thing is, I'm fine with them showing the episode because it's part of the story.
Okay.
I mean, Kenya was at the event, at Shamea's event. It would look weird if she just stopped showing up all of a sudden. And there was this back and forth with Brit, and Brit having all this stuff to say. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it was an integral part of the storyline, to where they had to show without showing the explicit nature of it, but basically show the events that led to Kenya being off the show.
Can I respond to that real quick?
Sure.
The reason why I asked that is because we kind of had an idea of what happened to Kenya before the show even aired.
Yeah, because we all had heard the whisperings of her not
came through.
being on the full season.
To me, I think this would have been a great opportunity to not show this episode, because it's like, oh, it's so bad that, Kenya had to be benched from, like, whatever she did was so bad that we did not show the episode. We had to scrap the episode and basically went to the next episode or did something to replace that. I just don't believe, in my opinion, that you can say, oh, this is so bad that we have to bench Kenya, but then you show the episode to where it's probably one of the highest rated episodes, at least for this season, at least it's going to be, because I hear a lot of people saying, hey, this is the finale, I ain't watching no more, right? And then on top of that, when we watch the episode, especially watching the leading up to it, we kind of see, hold on now, the line's not as clear as y'all try to make it seem like Kenya was all in the wrong 100%. The lines are very blurred to where it's like, how come y'all didn't do nothing about this gun threat? You get what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, I think Bravo did themselves a disservice of showing the episode, in my opinion.
Do you think they were trying to, in so many words, you're trying to say that they may have used her?
Yes. Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing about it, right? Listen here. I read the comments, right? I am not someone that believes in conspiracies, right?
But what?
I'm not.
Okay.
Right? I'm not, right?
Okay.
I'm not. I don't want to put on my tinfoil hat and believes and start coming up with theories in my head of this and this and this and this. But you call those type of people crazy until they're not. Do you get what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I'm not going to say I'm the one to believe in conspiracies, but to everybody else in the comments, everybody else in the YouTube world and things like that coming up with their theories of why this happened and the whole production versus Kenya thing, I'm not calling y'all crazy no more. I may not agree. I may not even see it myself. I'm just going to go from being a non-believer to just being ignorant.
Okay.
I'm just going to be like, I have no knowledge. But based off of the facts of what I saw and based off what everybody is saying, the theories that I'm hearing, I'm like, I can see how that makes sense to where it's like, how come it's always Kenya that y'all picking on? How come it feels like okay, Kenya said in an interview that she went to production about the threat and things.
With Tamron Hall.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And about the threat, and y'all made her seem like a black Karen. Her words, yeah. Right? And then she felt like she had to take matters in her own hand. Now, this is where I don't agree with Kenya. Because my thing is, if you didn't feel safe, I would think you would be like, I'm not filming with this person.
Yeah.
I don't want to be on the same set. I don't want to be in the same room with this person because I don't feel safe.
Or I need my own bodyguard.
Yes.
Uninvite her from my thing.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
So
yeah.
I am not going to give Kenya bail to get out of jail on the whole I did it because I felt unsafe. No.
But I want to offer a different perspective of basically saying that I totally agree with you 100%.
Okay.
But I will say sometimes when somebody is bothering you and constantly coming at you,
mm-hmm.
you might do a little something crazy to get them up off of you.
Yeah,
but I don't know if I would put it in this scenario 100%, but I can give her a small little bit of bail to get her into the holding cell. Okay. All the way out of jail, but in the waiting cell or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Basically saying like, I'll give her that she felt what did she say? That she felt unsafe. And that she felt, like this lady was unhinged or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
And maybe she did a little bit to get her up off of her instead of going the route of somebody who would be like, well, let me completely ice her out.
Ooh.
I'm just offering a different perspective.
Listen, I am not hating on your perspective.
Yeah. Because I don't want to say what she feels isn't how she felt. And the way she went about it,
I don't know.
I'm not with it. I'm not with the way that she went about it.
I don't know,
but I kind of want to let her have her piece. You know what I'm saying?
She can have her piece, but at the same time, like you mentioning your daughter about this whole like you did this because I'm a mother and like and like to be without my kid and things like it's like I understand that, but I'm like let's not bring kids into this.
That's the thing that I don't agree with.
Like I'm just like truth be told, you wanted to give her the Kenya Moore experience, right? The Kenya Moore experience to where what you're known for. You're known for reading people. You're known for receipts. You're known for the don't come for me unless I send for you. You're known for this whole like I'm a pro at this. So I don't think it was so much of she felt unsafe. I think she felt like, you know what, I'm gonna lay back this season because I'm already back and forth with production. My place in the show, I'm kind of fading out, letting the new era come in. I'm gonna chill. I think once this girl, Brit, mind you, no one ever came at Kenya the way that Brit did.
But before you go too far, I want to touch on her commentary about Tamron Hall and bringing up her daughter. And what she was pretty much saying in that was that because she's been in situations to where she's escalated situations before. And so she knows that she definitely escalated the situation and she did something that she knows that she shouldn't have done. So she absolutely took full accountability. So in no way, shape, or form am I saying, Kenya, don't take it back. You did what you were supposed to do. No, you actually was wilding out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't like the whole thing where she starts talking about how, well, I've never been in a situation like this when I've had a child before because, this business is for my child and, I'm like the sole caretaker for my child and, I really don't know what to do, because of my child. And I just feel like don't bring a child into a situation that she was never a factor in. Brit wasn't coming at you and making all those threats, whatever y'all might want to call them, because she was trying to come for you and your child. Keep it at you and her. Yes. Is how I feel about it.
Now, here's the thing. It is a threat.
Yeah.
I
absolutely agree.
Now, it is a threat because now I want to transition after I say this, that no one never came at Kenya the way that Brit did, especially in the way that Brit did. And how like it seems so one-sided. If there was ever some combative going back and forth, there was something to where you can basically be like, okay, this person did this person did this, this person did that, this person did this. I could understand Kenya be like, no one never came at me like this because I didn't do nothing to this girl. Like I literally did nothing to this girl, and now she's threatening me with a pistol. And I just want to talk to the people out there that there's no such thing as I threaten you with a pistol and I don't threaten your life. Mm-hmm. All weapons are not created equal. You get what I'm saying? So if I say I'm going to hit you with a bat, that don't necessarily mean I'm going to end your life with a bat. At the same time, even though it is assault, right? But if someone says pistol or like a weapon like that, that usually clears out the club. That clears off the playground and all that stuff. It is a murder weapon. Yes. Basically, mm-hmm. right? Now, I want to transition to this Andy Cohen radio show that he had that Kenya responded to. Did you listen to it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. The main reason why I didn't like it, and not so much of what Andy is. I know it's Andy's show, and Andy didn't really say much.
He didn't.
He really was the one that really built out the scene. But the co-hosts and things like that is basically saying...
And the callers.
Yeah, say that it was SA. Whoa. Mm-hmm. No, it wasn't. Mm-hmm. Like, no, it was wrong. It was foul. It was beneath Kenya. It was dirty. But let's not start throwing things on and piling on Kenya to talk about it was SA and things like that. And basically showing this picture like, basically, you SA'd me. Wait a minute now. Yeah. Because now you're actually putting 20 on 10, right? It's already 10. It's already at its max wrong. And then we have callers calling in. And this one caller, Miss Lady, I guess I'm going to call her, right? Talking about she does not take what Brit said as seriously. Like, oh, yeah, I just took it as like, she just talking smack and things like that. Mind you, a pistol is a murder weapon.
And I feel like if this were any other branch of Housewives other than Potomac.
Yeah.
in Atlanta, then I feel like that wouldn't be something that was taken lightly. I felt like if Brit was saying that to any of the women who were not on Potomac or Atlanta, it would be taken seriously that a black woman is saying this to a white woman.
Oh, yeah.
But because it's two black women having a disagreement and there's talk about weapons and all this different type of stuff, then I feel like the way that people view it is not as serious if it was any type of arrangement of the parties involved.
And that's what I'm saying. I think people are looking at
that implicit bias.
Yeah. That's people are looking at the whole, okay, Kenya went too far with the reaction and things like that, and Bravo did a good job benching her. And then they kind of playing light to the whole, Brit mentioned a pistol, but she really wasn't serious about it. No, there's something before that. What triggered Brit was the word peasant.
Yeah.
like I understand if you want to, if this is Zeus or if this Baddies Club or like whatever it is, and even then I don't really even understand it, to be honest. But what triggered you to use the threat of a murder weapon was the word peasant on a show called Housewives.
Yeah.
It gets worse. It gets way worse on Housewives and things like that. So that's why I'm like, forget of looking at the reaction and looking at Kenya like, oh, I'm happy Bravo did what he did. Listen here, to me, honestly, I feel like Bravo should not have shown that episode because, truth be told, I think Bravo should have a code of conduct, an HR department, whatever it is, some type of guidelines to where, hey, we don't bring weapons to work. We don't threaten to bring weapons to work and things of that nature. And when you do something like that, you will get benched.
And as a viewer, I want to see it because I want to be able to make my own judgment. And I'm happy to have the conversations about it.
No, that's fair. So, yeah, but my thing is, what usually happens after a threat of someone saying that they go shoot somebody?
They get benched.
No, what happened? I'm talking about in real world. Like, what happens after the threat of basically, hey, I'm going to do something to you with a pistol?
Like what? You make me guess answers. I don't guess right.
What comes after that, Blair? Is
you get talking to?
No, it's
get arrested.
No. Listen. After someone threatens to do something to you with a weapon, what comes after that is the act. Yes. So my whole thing is, I want to see a code of conduct on Bravo to where we don't even play those type of games. Because then all of a sudden, besides us being proactive, then we going to be reactive. Because then someone really going to get hurt on set. We are not going to take threats with that weapon lightly at all. So the minute that you mention you're going to do something with a pistol, you're out of here. And that's just something that we got to take seriously, because you don't want to get to the point to where people feel free to say that, because at the end of the day, it's not even about the person that is doing the threat. It's about the person who feel threatened. Because some people have a, guess what? There is a flight or fight thing, and some people don't take those type of threats lightly. Some people be like, I'm going to get you before you get me. If you go threaten my life like that, in that way, then I'm going to do you before you do me. And I'm like, someone is within their right to do so, to defend themselves.
Yeah.
What other thoughts you have based on what you heard?
Well, I mean, we also watched Brit when she was talking to whoever she was interviewing with, and she was having,
I think it's called Housewives Nightcap or something like that. It was something like that.
Yeah, and she was basically saying that she knows what she did was wrong, but Kenya, what she did was worse, and Kenya needs to basically humble herself and apologize to Brit. She's going out here doing all these apologies on all these platforms instead of the person who she needs to apologize to. And you know what? I'll leave that up to Kenya.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I don't agree.
I'm gonna leave that up to Kenya. I think, of course, when something's done to you, it always feels like it's worse. But when you do something to somebody else, it probably feels just as bad to them.
Of course.
So, and I understand that Brit apologized to Kenya, brought her flowers, tried to make good on what happened.
I don't believe it.
But I also believe that sometimes Brit, an apology doesn't do. Sometimes you go too far. And an apology isn't good enough, and you know what? We wash your hands of you.
Yeah.
So I'll leave that up to Kenya if she thinks Brit deserves an apology.
Yeah.
But I will say,
go ahead.
Showing somebody in that light is deplorable. It's nasty. It's despicable. Kenya had her reasons, and I do feel like her reasons, even though she decided to react this way, was not the best decision for her to react this way. Not only because of Brit, but also because you allowed your moment to be overshadowed.
Yeah,
and I think that's the thing that annoys me the most about why Kenya did this.
It was a rookie mistake.
Is because you pretty much like shot yourself in the foot. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like you had the opportunity to really like be in there just the way we see Dr. Jackie and them in their office all the time. Like you could have been in your salon all season doing whatever you needed to do, hosting multiple events in that place.
Well, hold on. Maybe not, because based on those conspiracies, maybe Bravo wouldn't show it.
Maybe not. But the thing is, if she's always there, hey. But yeah, I feel like with that, I'll leave that up to Kenya's discretion if Brit deserves an apology from her, because I think both of them went extremely too far. And yeah, what about you?
Yeah, maybe I need clarification. Maybe I need your opinion on this. What Kenya did in that salon, would you consider that RP?
I would have to look up the like legit definition of it, because I think that it's the way that people have talked about it is blurred lines.
Yes.
So I feel like if it's public, because the way that Kenya explained it, she went on a public platform and basically like grabbed screenshots from videos.
Yes.
And she only showed one screenshot of something that was public.
Yeah.
Right. And then if you decide to share that with a group of people, is that considered RP? I really don't know. I think it's distasteful.
It's distasteful.
And I don't think it's the time or the place. And if you're not actively seeking that out, then no, I don't think that you should be subject to seeing that.
Yeah.
But what I put it as RP, the way that I look at RP is basically you send something to someone privately and they blast you, you know?
Yeah.
But you know, I think that it's a gray area to me, but maybe y'all know better.
And because it's a gray area, it's a gray area to me as well, too. Because when I look at, if y'all watch Love and Marriage Huntsville, what Martell did about how he have videos of them privately and things like that, and he's threatening to publicly put that out there. To me, I'm like, that's very clear RP, because it's not on a public website. It's not for public consumption and things like that. It was something you had private, and you're kind of using blackmail and things of that nature. There's a lot of things to make it like that. That's why I asked that, because I'm going to what Brit said. Brit said she understands what she did was wrong, but what Kenya did was 1,000,000 times worse. And I'm like, I don't know if it's 1,000,000 times worse. Because distasteful, as much as distasteful as it can be, it doesn't mean that it was a crime. And what you did, you can't say what you did in a regular work environment. You can't threaten to shoot nobody or like to bring a pistol in an airport, at work, church. Depending. You get what I'm saying? My thing is in the climate that this country is in, especially when it comes to weapons and things like that with pistols. I don't know if what Kenya did was a million times worse.
But I'll throw it back at you in this way: that what Kenya did, she couldn't get away with doing that anywhere publicly,
100%,
especially with the Me Too movement and all these different things coming out about sexual harassment. Could that fall within the sexual harassment umbrella? Maybe, but no.
That's why I said, if, in my opinion, if it was up to me, I'm like, both of y'all sit down. Yeah, you get what I'm saying? But I think Bravo is behind the 8 ball already, because you basically chose who was right and wrong in the situation by who is the one that's continued to film and which one is not, right? And once you start doing that, I think Bravo could have saved themselves by benching both of them. But the fact that you told Kenya to go home and basically we don't care about your storyline this season, and Brit was allowed to stay, I think they basically made a decision indirectly, directly, whatever you want to say, of like who we see who was right and who was wrong. And my thing is, an apology, apologizing or trying to bring flowers to someone is not expecting someone to accept your apology literally days after you threaten their life is not like logical. That's why I don't believe Brit. When Brit's like, I came there being apologetic and things like that. No, you was apologetic on camera because you thought that your job was in jeopardy. And it was. You get what I'm saying? So, because outside of all of that, we saw the screenshots and things of that nature where you basically saying, I was hazed and I'm not going to stand for that. But we saw the season. Kenya didn't haze you. Kenya barely spoke to you. Every conversation you had with Kenya, it seemed like you initiated it, right? And then on top of that, even with the whole Kenya thing, you over here in the comments still writing and still here. So it doesn't seem like you're remorseful. And I understand that you can feel however you feel because you was wrong. It was distasteful to you. And I think Kenya, the way that she tried to, what's the word? The way that Kenya tried to make sense of it was that, hey, I knew that it was explicit photos, so I knew that they was going to blur it out. So nobody was going to see it. But that don't take away the fact that people, like real people, were still there. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, yes, what Kenya did was distasteful, but it's not a million times worse, in my opinion. It's not a million times worse. What's worse, in my opinion, is threatening someone's life with a pistol because you was called peasant. And my thing is, the reason why I'm mad at Kenya is because she fell into the whole reality TV, I gotta outdo myself type of like loophole, to where she's like, you know what? I'm going to give you the Kenya Moore experience, and I'm going to do something. I can't bring the marching band. I can't like repeat what I've done in past seasons. I got to outdo myself. And what happens when you are in this constant loop of reality TV, especially Real Housewives, you find ways of trying to read people. You try to give them receipts, as Kenya would say. And then what happens? You step over the line. You step over the line because you're trying to outdo yourself. You're really trying to prove a point. And my whole thing is, I don't think Kenya did all this because she felt unsafe. I don't think she even thought of Brooklyn one bit, because if she thought of Brooklyn, she would have remembered that she invested $400,000 into the salon that she is scared about, by the way.
Yeah.
That she is insecure about, because she's like, this is the college fund, meaning like it has to work. Or else poor Brooklyn got to go to the Army.
Okay.
Or Air Force. You get what I'm saying? So don't make this about Brooklyn. Don't make this about your children and like your motherhood and things of that nature. You wanted to basically say, I'm going to give you the Kenya Moore experience because I'm Team Twirl.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with you felt unsafe or safe. Anything else on this subject, Blair?
No, that's all. I'm interested to see what you all have to say.
Yes.
If there's more that you think about, or maybe how your opinion has changed with the more things that have come out online about what the ladies have been saying. So I'm really interested in getting down in the comments of the conversation and seeing, what all is going on.
Days went by now, Blair. And when we did the initial review, you say you didn't feel bad for Brit. Do you feel bad?
Why do you keep asking me that? Because people think I have no morals.
Do you feel bad for Brit?
No.
Okay. And truth be told, I feel bad. Do I feel bad for Brit?
I'm like, she be all right.
Here's the thing. I don't feel bad for neither of them. Because I know, because I think when people hear I don't feel bad for Brit, it sounds like I feel bad for Kenya.
Or like Kenya didn't do anything wrong, which is not what I'm saying.
No.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad for Kenya. Because I feel like, Kenya, you are too much of a pro to make such a dumb, stupid rookie mistake. Right, especially since if this is supposed to be about your kid, if this is we see what you did, Kenya, when it's about your kid. Do you get what I'm saying? Don't try to say like, oh, I did all this because because I'm a mother and Brooklyn. No, on the grand opening of your hair salon, hair studio, whatever it is, you did not make it about Brooklyn. You made it about you and get back on Brit.
She made it about Brit.
And that's when I'm like, that's a rookie mistake.
Yeah, she should have paid her desk.
Yeah, like no, literally what she said.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
And that's why I can't feel bad for Kenya, because I'm like, you made a rookie mistake.
Yeah.
And for Brit, I don't feel bad for her because I don't think she's really remorseful. With this whole, this is not the type of person that I am. There have been videos that came out of the night after the filming where she was on Instagram Live cussing and talking about, yeah, I said it, da 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 da. So like, it just comes off as like Brit is like I can't trust anything that she's saying out her mouth, because I've seen it in the past 5 episodes that she said Kenya did this to her when we watched it, that Kenya didn't do nothing to you.
Yeah, and then it's weird how she's apologetic on the show, but then online she feels like she had to stand up for herself because she was being hazed. Yeah, it's just a lot of inconsistencies.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, I don't feel bad for neither of them.
Yeah, and
sit both of them down.
Right, and that's all I got.
Yeah, subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. We see y'all.
Bye.